evening, everyone. With the time being 6 o'clock on Thursday, August 6, 2020, I will call this meeting of the Webster School Committee to order. As a reminder, on March 12, 2020, Governor Baker issued an executive order modifying certain requirements of the open meeting law to enable public bodies to carry out their responsibilities while adhering to public health recommendations regarding social distancing. The executive order relieves public bodies from the requirement in the open meeting law that meetings be conducted in a public place that is open and physically accessible to the public, provided that the public body makes provisions to ensure public access to the deliberation of the public body through adequate alternative means. In this case, we're utilizing Zoom and have listed information for joining the meeting on the school district website. Just another reminder, this meeting is being recorded both video and audio and will be posted on the school district website. Whew. The first item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Good evening, Dr. Gogan.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank you publicly for the last-minute meeting. I have a very brief personnel update tonight. I do want to let you know that we have been busy trying to fill our open positions. We have a new hire. Her name is Lisa Liard, and she is our new grade 5 math and science teacher at the Webster Middle School. We unfortunately have received the resignation of our ELL teacher over at Park Avenue Elementary School, one of our teachers, Jennifer Chartier. We wish her the best. Just briefly in other updates, as you can imagine, we are very busy with preparing for what the new year will bring. We've attended many HR workshops. We were on some workshops with the state looking at some of the remote online platforms that they have, and busy putting together the plans that are due to the state. And of course, very busy reading all of the new documents that are coming from the state, trickling in. We're doing that with a smile on our face, and I do want to give a shout out to our administrators who are working in the buildings and really digging into the logistics of separating our kids and getting ready for a hybrid model and looking at all of the safety needs that we have to put in place. So I'll have to come up with a better word because it's busier than busy. So that concludes my report tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Gogan. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? I know it's a very, very, I don't want to use the word busy either, time of year probably unheard of, but thank you and the team for all of the efforts that you're putting forth to get things in order. Let's see here. Next item on the agenda under old business is the revised 2020-2021 school calendar. And Dr. Gogan.
Thank you. I know we did some updates at our last meeting to the calendar to give our teachers some more professional development. We moved some days around. On July 27th, the Commissioner of Education reduced the 180-day requirement for student learning time and reduced it to 170 days so that the teachers could have across the state 10 days of for planning without students and prepping for this new year. He signed a memorandum of understanding with the Massachusetts Teachers Association, the AFT Massachusetts Association, and the Boston Teachers Union so that all teachers across the state could have those 10 days. That pushes our start date back for our students, which would require some changes in our calendar. In looking at our calendar, we made some other adjustments that I will briefly walk you through. So with the 10 days, the first day of school would be pushed back for grades 1 through 12 to September 15th. The first day of pre-K and kindergarten would be pushed back to September 21st. As you already know, we had already moved all of our half-day Wednesdays to half-day Fridays. We had already discussed having virtual open houses. But new tonight, those open houses with the pushback of the start of school have been pushed back a week. So they would be September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, respectively, for Park Ave, Webster Middle School, and Bartlett High School. There would be virtual parent conferences. And later on in tonight's agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about the waiver on time on learning requirements, even though it has been reduced for students. we are going to apply for a waiver so that with our plan, we can hopefully be approved to have every Friday be half-day remote learning with half-day of time for teachers to do planning for the week ahead and parent and student family outreach. So the calendar is before you, and I know there was a little bit of confusion on the calendar in the school committee folder, so I sent a new one, but there's still a little bit of confusion. The marking periods will have to be modified. That's the one piece we did not do. So I would ask that you approve this with the ability for us to modify the actual days for the marking period. Any questions?
Through the chair.
Ms. Navarrete?
So just to clarify, all Fridays are half days for students.
Not in the calendar. We need a waiver for that to happen. So the half
Okay.
days that were Wednesdays are listed in the calendar. And in order for all half days to be Fridays, we must have a waiver for time on learning requirements for the middle school and the high school. And that's later on in the agenda, and I'll break that down for you. So in the calendar that you're voting on, it does not have every Friday as a half-day Friday because that requires the commissioner's approval for a waiver on time on learning.
Okay. So just the professional development Fridays are half days right now.
In the calendar.
I also noticed one change in the calendar as well that wasn't highlighted in your notes, but I just thought it was an interesting change. So the Monday and Tuesday of winter
Yes.
or the holiday vacation. Yeah, I like
Thank
that.
you, Kathy. There's so many things that we're working on at once. Because the teachers got an additional 5 days without the students, they still need to work 185 days. And the students are coming to school now 170 days. So we actually gained some more professional development time with our teachers, which is wonderful because the teachers need that time to plan. So there are 2 days before the Christmas break. For families, it's a very nice break, but those 2.5 days will be professional development for our teachers. Those are December 21st, 22nd, and a half day on the 23rd. And then the other date that we added in was on May 14th. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, March 18th and 19th. On March 18th and 19th, those would also be professional development days and no days of school. We looked at March, it's a very long month, and so that breaks it up for students and families. And also if we needed to empty the school for cleaning, that gives us extended periods. So that's why we looked at those kind of times. Thanks for pointing that out.
A lot of moving parts here.
Mhm.
So it sounds like the calendar that's before us is your best guess at what things will look like with the knowledge that if we're able to get a waiver for the time on learning, that those the Fridays that are not already half days for professional development would become half days.
Yes, but I would ask you to push the waiver aside tonight. The
Yep.
existing school calendar is the calendar that we need you to approve because I would like to notify parents as soon as possible that the start of school has been pushed back. And I didn't want to do that without you approving a school calendar. And if the commissioner approves the waiver, then we will I will notify you and I will notify families that every Friday will be a half day. We'll do it in kind of incremental steps. Does that make sense?
Any further questions or comments from the committee? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the revised school calendar as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Dr. Gogan, would you poll the committee, please?
I'd be happy to. Member Millet?
Yes.
Member Naparata?
Yes.
Member Blythe?
Yes.
Chair Madam Siddiqui?
Yes. The motion
Oh, here
passes
we go. Member Adamopoulos.
Yes.
Now the motion passes. Thank you. And the next item on the agenda under old business, is reopening plan updates. Dr. Gogan?
Thank you. You were one of the first school committees to come out and support what we were doing for the fall. I want to thank you for that. I think it brought a level of anxiety down in our community. People got to know what we were doing, not only for our teachers to know that there was going to be time for them to process the new norms and getting into school. It gave our administrators more time to just focus on one thing. But they're not really focusing on one thing. It just gave everybody an opportunity to sort things in a different way. Your plan that you approved has been turned into a comprehensive district plan that is due to the state. It is in the school committee folder. It's going to go out to families. It's based off of what we had talked about. We're starting in a remote environment, and our principals are working on grouping the kids for the hybrid. We will reassess the hybrid. But in that comprehensive plan, there's much more details that the Commissioner of Education is asking all superintendents to put in. Things about safety, about grading, about student access. It's a 50-page document. It is in your packet for your review. We will be translating that into 2 different languages and sharing that with families in the next couple of days. And I just ask that you approve us sending that document, which is based off of what you approved, to send to the commissioner.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the committee regarding the reopening plan updates?
Would you like me to
through
show
the
you,
chair.
Kathy? I'm watching Mrs. Naparata's face. Would you like me to share the screen?
No, I have it up on another
Okay.
computer.
I- Okay.
Through the chair.
Ms. Millet, yes?
I have a question. So the document itself, is that pending negotiations with any unions?
Absolutely, and that it says it in there. What I tried to do for ease of read, it's based off of the initial 3 model plan that you saw at the last meeting, and any changes are kind of in purple. And even in the first plan, and I think I must have stated it at least 7 times throughout that 50-page document, everything is subject to change. And it is based off of negotiations. It's based off of current health data. It's based off of, a number of things. So yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Comments from the committee? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the updates to the reopening plan.
So moved. Oh, sorry. Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Dr. Gogan, would you poll the committee, please?
Be happy to. Member Adamopoulos.
Yes.
Member Naparata.
Yes.
Member Millet.
Yes.
Member Blythe.
Yes.
Chair Madam Siddiqui.
The motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then the next item on the agenda under new business is the approval of student time on learning waiver.
Okay.
Dr. Gogan.
Thank you. When the Commissioner of Education entered into a memorandum of understanding with all the teachers across the state to give them extra time, he reduced the time on learning for students. Typically, in elementary school, you have to go 900 hours a year. And for the elementary now, across the state, there are 850 hours worth of learning. We meet the 850 hours with our existing school calendar that you've already approved for the elementary. They're at 996. Even if we had half days on Fridays, we would meet the hours, the reduced hours at the elementary school. They'd be at 915 hours. So we don't need a waiver. for half-day Fridays for the elementary school. But the middle school, the 5th and 6th graders would qualify under elementary, which is 850 hours. And the 7th and 8th graders fit under the category of secondary. And the secondary new regulation hours are 850 as opposed to 990. I'm sorry, they are 935 as opposed to 990. So with our current school calendar, the 5th and 6th graders meet the new requirements, and so do the 7th and 8th graders. But if we were to have half-day Fridays, our 5th and 6th graders would require a waiver because they would be at 839 hours and 30 minutes, and they need to make it at 850. So I anticipate that a waiver would be granted because it's not too far off. And the 7th and 8th graders are at 898 hours, and that would require a waiver because they need to be at 850. That does not require a waiver. That's an error. Okay? That's an error. I apologize for that. But the high school would require a waiver for half-day Fridays because they would be at 875 hours and 70 minutes. But they would meet the new 935 hours for the current school calendar year. And I'm sorry, I did not make a mistake. The 7th and 8th graders do not meet the 935 hours, and they would require a waiver. So it's in your notes. We would need a waiver for the middle school and the high school for half-day Fridays. So I have to submit that waiver by August 14th and for the commissioner to review. And as soon as I find out, I will let everyone know. And I'm asking that you approve that we submit for that waiver.
Once again, are there any questions or comments from the committee?
Through the chair,
No.
I have a question. This is only if we go to half-day Fridays.
Yes.
This
The
waiver.
waiver is only required to get to the half-day Fridays for every Friday to be half-day.
But we don't have those yet. We don't have every Friday as half-day Fridays yet,
No, we don't.
but we have to put it in just in case.
It's not in the calendar. It's not in the school
Right.
year calendar. We need to get permission from the commissioner, and he has led superintendents to believe that he would be very lenient with waivers this year. He understands the need for teacher planning and the multiple moving pieces.
So with the waiver, you would be able to do the every Friday half-days.
Yes.
Through the chair, I have a question. Are teachers still going to get their prep periods during the week?
Yes. The beauty of our plan is it mirrors a typical schedule. It's going to mirror a typical day. So they'll get their prep, the students will get their special. We're trying to keep things as normalized as possible. And contractually, we have to give people a prep and a lunch and all of that. So yes, the new schedules do have all of that.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the student time on learning waiver as presented.
So moved.
Second,
A motion and a second. Dr. Gogan, poll the committee, please.
I will. Member Millet,
yes.
Member Blythe,
Yes.
Member Adamopoulos,
Yes.
Member Naparata,
Yes.
Chair Madame Siddiqui.
Yes. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
And the next item on the agenda is an approval of transfer from the Webster Middle School Student Activity Savings Account to the checking account. Now we need to find the amount scans sideways on the packet, but the amount of the transfer that's being requested is $7,499.82. I have a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Dr. Grogan, call the committee.
Yes. Member Blythe?
Yes.
Member Millet?
Yes.
Member Adamopoulos?
Yes.
Member Naparata?
Yes.
Madam Siddiqui?
Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Also on the agenda here is a transfer and signing of payroll and vouchers. Is there anything that needs to be signed this week that we're aware of that we can make arrangements for?
Sign tomorrow, yes. Both of these, if someone can come. If you can't do it tomorrow, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. Okay. That's everything on our agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Dr. Gogan, would you pull the committee, please?
I sure will. Member Millet?
Yes.
Member Blythe?
Yes.
Member Adamopoulos?
Yes.
Member Naparata?
Yes.
Madam Siddiqui?
Yes. That's unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
I'll be in
Have a good
touch. Take
Okay.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.